So we're just continuing on our story of David and Goliath in 1 Samuel chapter 17. And, if you are a person that's maybe new to reading the Bible and you think it's kind of boring, you should start reading in 1 Samuel and read on through that, and 2 Samuel. It's pretty exciting. I would call them like a bunch of short stories that make a full story. Great stuff. But let's pick up here where Saul has agreed to let David go fight Goliath, as David has stepped up in his faith and his boldness to go ahead and trust God in the battle. So here, let's listen to this. Then Saul gave David his own armor, a bronze helmet and a coat of mail. David put it on, strapped the sword over it, and took a step or two to see what it was like, for he had never worn such things before. I can't go in these, he protested to Saul. I'm not used to them. So David took them off again. He picked up 5 smooth stones from a stream and put them into his shepherd's bag. Then, armed only with his shepherd's staff and sling, he started across the valley to fight the Philistine. Well, I'm just going to pause reading right there, and I just love this story, and I love the faith of David. Now, see, the world tries to tell us what we have to have and how we have to do things and the certain things that are expected and required of us. Just like Saul said, well, if you're going into battle, you need this kind of armor because this is the way we do it. And so David was trying to be compliant through his leadership and stuff and tried it on. It's like, no way, man. I cannot function like this. This isn't the way that I live. This isn't something that I do, nor have I ever done it. And so as we think about that, I'm saying the world wants you to try and conform to the way they do things. And God's called us to stand up and be his people. And though we may do things differently or approach things differently, we ought to, because when we live by faith, our life should look differently. And David just grabbed what he was trained in, what he was used to, and what he knew God would do for him. And he stepped out there completely vulnerable in the eyes of human beings, but completely protected by the host of heaven's armies. God is so good. I want you to know that God has you today. You may feel vulnerable in some situations. You may look that way by other people, but God has you. He loves you. Let's go forth in faith and face. A little hard to say that. Let me say it again. Let's go forth in faith and face the giants that the world wants to put before us and get us to conform to the way they think we ought to be. May God bless you. Let's be his church.